Don't even laugh at me. I had no idea what streaming was. I'm serious. Had no idea that you could stream games. I didn't know it was a thing. You could go live. I was just on my feed one day and my friend introduced me to Fortnite and bang, there was the live streaming. I was literally BOT. I was such a bot. I didn't know how to do anything. Fortnite was my very first like shooter game. Seriously, I never played shooting. I was a Sims girl. I was making houses, all that sort of stuff. So Fortnite was very like intense for me. I was like, oh, I have to shoot people and oh my word, I think my high energy and my very careless attitude to just play and have a good time, and I would just die and go back to the lobby and laugh about it and go back in the next game, kind of thing, really like took people by surprise. Because let's be honest, like sometimes we tune in and most streamers are so great at the game, you're kind of like, oh, I wish I could play like that, like whoa, it's kind of like intimidating, right? You're like, you compare yourself, you're like, frick, why can't I play like this, what, they're so good. So I think maybe I was just so unique and so different, so people were watching being like, oh my god, I play like her, so they could relate. And then it was like a personality thing, and they were like, oh, she's having like a fun time, like, and I would talk a lot, and that's where NatChats comes from, because I can't shush, There wasn't much going for Facebook gaming in Australia. There was creators and stuff, but we weren't really being looked at. And I saw this as an opportunity to be like, heck yeah, I want to put us on the map. Like, let's go. It's like a moment in history. I mean, out of the whole continent, it's crazy. I said, these are my numbers. This is what I'm doing. I want to be partnered. I was definitely super passionate about it. I wanted to really prove myself and show like I'm capable. Like, please, like, give us a chance here in Australia. And for me, it was more so opening up more doors for Australia too. So it wasn't only about myself. I was like, oh, I'm the first partner. For me, it was exciting because I was like, cool. Now more people can be partnered. It's somewhere. We're starting somewhere. Let's go.
Welcome, everybody, to the Becoming a Creator podcast. Thank you today, too, because today we're joined by NatChats. She has over 500,000 follows over on Facebook, growing her community rapidly, banking kills over in Warzone, Fortnite. She was actually also the very first Australian streamer to become a Facebook partner, which is super cool. So, Natalie, so great to have you on here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you.
You actually grew on Facebook very quickly in the
Yeah.
first 3 months, hitting 20K follows on
Mm.
it, which is just mind-blowing in general. You also had a full-time job in the beauty industry then too, correct? So, like,
Yes.
what was your biggest hurdle when it
Mm.
came to creating content while juggling the full-time job
Mhm.
before deciding to go full-time?
I do want to clarify too, when I did start content creation and streaming, it was honestly just a hobby and like, oh, I want to try this. I didn't have like, this whole idea in my mind that I was going to become the streamer. I didn't, to be honest, don't even laugh at me. I had no idea what streaming was. I'm serious. Had no idea that you could stream games. I didn't know it was a thing. You could go live. I was just on my feed one day and my friend introduced me to Fortnite and bang, there was the live streaming. No idea what was out there, how many viewers you should be having, what goals you need to hit. You need to get a 30 bomb or you need to get like this many wins so like, people to watch you. And I think that's what made me enjoy the process so much is I had no idea what was out there. I was enjoying the moment of what I was in and what I was creating because I had no idea what I was doing. It was an easy choice going from like full time into streaming. It was definitely difficult to take that leap. It was, nerve wracking. You just, you're stepping into that unknown. But because I was progressing so much and I was doing so well, I didn't just quit my job like the first day. I was like, woohoo, I'm a streamer now. I was like,
Sure.
okay, like, let's seriously look at this. Can I make a living? Can I, I definitely took a responsible choice when going full time. It was not hard to stream and work because my streaming was my hobby and I loved it. It was where I would unwind and it's what I look forward to come home from work and do. And I think that was important. It wasn't like a second job. I was full time at my beauty and then I cut down slowly part time, like to see I never like I said, left my job, which I think is important for content creators to still do. Don't just leave your job. Carry on with your job, do the streaming, try fit it in. And like if it really picks up and you really want to wholeheartedly go into it, then do it. I support you. But it's definitely taking that responsible decision to really understand some months are going to be great, sometimes it's going to be a bit slower. You need to be quite responsible with like budgeting and all that kind of stuff and really understanding how streaming works.
Was it at that point when you hit 20,000? Was it like after 3 months, is that when you went full time with it?
There was no real partnership here. Like there wasn't much going for Facebook gaming in Australia. There was
Right.
creators and stuff, but we weren't really being looked at. And I saw this as an opportunity to be like, heck yeah, I want to put us on the map. Like, let's go. I attended my first PAX. I was excited to be a part of everything. I wanted to invest in this new journey that I was doing. I was dedicated. I wanted to go meet the team. I wanted to be like, I'm NatChats. This is me. And I had about 80K at that stage. And I was like, I really want to, make a presence here. I want to show them, like, I'm willing to come. I want to attend these events. I want to
Yeah.
put Australia into all of this kind of thing. And then that's when I was like, okay, let's take this on full time.
That's freaking awesome. I love your, like,
Yeah,
just dedication and,
of
like,
course.
passion to wanna do it in the first
Yeah,
place. It's so cool to see.
of course.
Especially,
Thank
like,
you.
doing it for, as long as you have been doing it. I mean, I feel like I've
Yeah,
been doing it for so long now, and I still
yeah,
am trying to figure things out sometimes too and
yes,
whatnot. It's just like it's awesome.
for sure.
You've mentioned in even a previous interview that
Mhm.
when you started streaming, your dad in particular didn't fully understand or even agree with the decision and
Yeah,
wanted you to pursue more traditional career, right?
yes,
How did you kind of even navigate helping your loved one
understand.
understand what you were doing and this
Mhm.
is could be a viable career to your point, even like this, there's not even partnership for Australia. Like you're
Yeah.
building the foundations of something completely new here.
Of course. And that's a great question because I come from a very European background. So, mom and dad are very old school. For them, they weren't sure. They weren't unsure. Like they didn't know what I was doing. To them, they see it as like, you're just playing games, you're sitting inside all day. Like, are you getting fresh air? Are you touching grass? I think it's very easy to base somebody's life on seeing them online for like 4 to 8 hours a day. But if you think about it, a normal workday, right, is around the same time. You just don't really see the person online. So it was, I think, a bit nerve wracking for them. They were probably a bit nervous about my actual lifestyle. But the more I sort of explained and like the success that I was, getting and what I wanted to achieve and my goals and that sort of thing, because I take being an influencer online very seriously with a responsibility. I want to be a good role model for people. I don't just like take my following for granted or people. What I post, I put a lot of thought into because I want to be a good role model. And so for them, they were proud, but in the beginning, they were kind of nervous just because, I moved obviously to Australia in 2015 from South Africa. And that was a big step to let me go. And then it was, trying to find work here and find my feet and, what is my plan in life? What am I going to be doing? And then I finally got into the beauty and I was doing really well there. I became like a really top makeup artist and skincare specialist. And I was, really climbing the ropes in that. And then all of a sudden, boom, now I'm streaming. And they were like, oh. So like a lot of stress, for my parents because I'm like that. I'm like, one day I want to do this and then I want to do that. And I've always been like that. But I think with times are changing and with, obviously COVID and a lot of online things, I think they understand now what I've built and what I'm doing and there's a better understanding around it. They'll come around because I know a lot of people struggle with this, but it's super important to just like let them know what you're doing, describe it more instead of becoming defensive about it and being like, oh no, but you don't understand. Like, you really want to make sure they do understand because as any parent of, your kid, you want them to be successful. And in their mind, it's like, oh, architect, engineer, accountant, whereas we live now in 2022, there's so many unique jobs that are so incredible for, different skilled people, different creative minds. And I love that. And it's important for parents to also understand to, motivate their kids because, their kid could be the next creative genius. Like, why force them into a job that, they're not loving? I think doing a passion and doing something you love, it really shows in the results and the success. And I mean, I'm 3 years going and I still love it. I don't feel like, oh, like I want to move on to my next thing. Of course, I want to do bigger, better things and carry on. Like I do love my streaming, but it's something I'm very passionate about. And I think when you find your passion, you can just, it just shows in somebody, and your parents cannot be not happy for that, because your kid is so happy.
To that point, a lot of our
Yeah.
listeners are streamers just
Yeah.
starting out. And it can be difficult in the beginning to even, especially build a community.
Mhm.
With your rapid success, did you find that your community was built around the games that you were playing or even more on your personality? And I guess how did that grow for you?
Definitely my personality. If you had to watch my very first stream, you would absolutely die. I was literally BOT. I was such a bot. I didn't know how to do anything. Fortnite was my very first like shooter game. Seriously, I never played shooter. I was a Sims girl. I was making houses, all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
Fortnite was very like intense for me. I was like, oh, I have to shoot people and know my word. What I grew from was like people were just enjoying that I was such a bot but having such a good time. And it was so funny. I think the accent was very unique, South
Mm.
African and mixed with a bit of Australian. They were like, oh, this is strange. Like, what is this accent? And I think there was a lot of curiosity there. I think my high energy and my very careless attitude to just play and have a good time, and I would just die and go back to the lobby and laugh about it and go back in the next game, kind of thing, really like took people by surprise because let's be honest, like sometimes, we tune in and most streamers are so great at the game. You're kind of like, oh, I wish I could play like that. Like, whoa, it's kind of like
Sure.
intimidating, right? You're like, you compare yourself. You're like, frick, why can't I play like this? Like this, what? They're so good. So I think maybe I was just so unique and so different. So people were watching being like, oh my God, I play like her. So they could relate. And then it was like, a personality thing, and they were like, "Oh, she's having like a fun time," like, and I would talk a lot, and that's where NatChats comes from because I can't shush. And I think the people really love the interaction coming into the stream, me giving them the time of day and saying hello and everything, and having that conversation. Whether I had 10 people watching, 2 people, 1,000, you name it, I always gave that same amount of energy. And I always say this to creators starting out: don't look at the amounts of people watching you, but concentrate on the ones that are taking the time to comment and talk to you in the chat. Because even though it might be the same guy commenting, by you constantly talking back to him, he's going to want to come back, which then somebody else will come in and find you, oh, she's so chatty or he's so chatty. And then they'll comment. They might feel comfortable to comment. Sometimes if you just like, oh, it's the same guy commenting, I'm just going to keep playing and you ignore him, someone else is like, oh, she doesn't even read that one comment. Why should I comment? He's probably not going to read mine. And it's kind of like a chain reaction, right? Then when you make people feel so welcome, you're so forthcoming and you're so chatty, they're like, oh, I want to say hello to her. She's pretty cool. Or he's really awesome. And then slowly, slowly, you start to build like more people comment. They want to come back. They enjoyed it. You do get the viewer that enjoys just coming for the gameplay. Like you got to find your niche. What is your goal as a streamer? What are you bringing to the table? And stick with that energy. One of the things I struggled with was with the growth to keep up with that constant energy of giving everybody that attention during that fast pace. And it was tough. It was definitely tough. We powered through, and I still try to give that exact same energy 3 years later.
When you did start, did you just stick with Fortnite off of
Mm,
that, or did you play other games with it? And is that
mm,
something you even advise to
mm.
new streamers?
So I definitely did start only with Fortnite, and then I branched out to doing COD Mobile because mobile gaming is so massive, and I wanted to be very inclusive. Not everybody loves Fortnite, and a lot of my viewers from Philippines, from like Asia side, like love the mobile games, including my friends and family, even from like South Africa, America. A lot of them play mobile gaming, and so for
Mhm.
me, I wanted to incorporate mobile so I could play with them too, because like I said, not everyone has a console, not everyone has a PC.
Sure.
And so I wanted to make sure I was inclusive to play with those lovely people that came in too. And I did it for a long time. I would do Fortnite and then I would do COD Mobile. And it was so nice to have different variety of people coming in for the game, of course, and the stream. It definitely was incredible to do, to hold the communities for both of the games. It doesn't work for everyone. It doesn't, because this is a topic we know we all talk about, like, should I play other games? Or I think what makes the stream the best is not about incorporating games to serve other people, but more so what you enjoy too.
Do you have any advice for new streamers who are even having a hard time chatting when there isn't much engagement in the chat?
Open questions are your best friend, not closed off questions. So if somebody, like, let's say there is one comment saying like, oh, how are you doing, don't just be like, oh yeah, I'm good, thanks, and you carry on. So I'm good, thank you so much, like, how are you doing today? So ask that person back, like, how are you doing? So to really start that conversation, talk while you're in the game, like explain what you're doing. If your chat is a bit quiet, be like, oh, that was a great kill. Like, do you guys like this gun? Like, open, like those questions, ask them. You get them to answer, by opening up the conversation. Obviously, if you're not going to say anything and like you're not really opening up the conversation too, it's like standing in front of someone just like staring at each other, right? You're gonna talk. So pretend the person is there, but you're just
Mm.
talking like via text, of course. I get some people aren't as confident, like some people are a bit shy, nervous, and that's totally fine. But it's important to make sure that your stream, your setup makes you feel confident and comfortable. So, like, if you don't want to stream with a camera, that's fine. Just because other people are streaming with a camera does not mean you need one. Doesn't mean you need to be like overly expressive or like. My biggest advice is always don't try to be like another creator because you see what they do. Do what's unique to you, like what you want to do. There might be people out there that love a more calm stream, more gameplay focused. There's an audience for everybody. Sometimes your people are like, shut up, like, stop talking. And I'm like, ew, don't be rude. And, like some people don't like that I talk so much, and that's fine. They want to rather watch something more like, shh, and they want to watch a gameplay, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's finding that audience and not trying to be like any other creator, but just be you. There's no requirements or guidelines to how you should have your stream or how it should be. Like, that's what's so cool about being a streamer is your creative ideas. You can literally do whatever you want to do. It's your stream.
That's awesome. I want to talk a bit about, you mentioned where you were from and
Yes.
where you're streaming from with it.
Yes.
You're located in Perth, Australia.
Yes.
So you obviously stream in that time zone. Obviously, you're from South Africa, and Facebook has pretty heavy American viewership with it. I'm
Yes.
curious, how much of your audience do you know is even split between America or Australia or even South Africa?
Yep. So America is biggest percentage. I'm pretty sure it's like 70%. I'm pretty sure. So really, really high up. And that's because the gaming industry is so massive. It's so massive in America. And of course, we all speak English, which is cool. I definitely wanted to accommodate that. And that's important for you to understand where your viewers are from. Because I see a lot of people, talk about growth and, these people don't come back, whatever, but maybe you're changing stream times. Maybe you're not like consistent. Maybe you're not going live when your viewers are awake. And like you said, it's important to know what percentage is from where. And I found that my morning and my evening stream really did accommodate most of those places that were in my top percentage of viewers. Whether you like it or not, to be like, no, but I just want to stream at this time. But if your viewers are from that country, you definitely have to, accommodate them. They will watch back, but to see you live is like really nice. So I think like you said, accommodating and understanding where the viewers are from is very important with streaming.
Being the first Australian streamer, male or female, to be
Yeah.
partnered with Facebook Gaming
Yeah.
must have felt like a massive accomplishment. What did that mean to you as a creator and a person?
Wow, that honestly was massive for me. It's like a moment in history. I mean, out of the whole continent, it's crazy. After PAC, I said, these are my numbers. This is what I'm doing. I want to be partnered. I was definitely super passionate about it. I wanted to really prove myself and show like I'm capable. Like, please, like, give us a chance here in Australia. And for me, it was more so opening up more doors for Australia too. So it wasn't only about myself. I was like, oh, I'm the first partner. For me, it was exciting because I was like, cool. Now more people can be partnered. It's somewhere. We're starting somewhere. Let's go. It was kind of paving the way to be like, cool. Now we can start getting more partners in Australia. Like we can show you that we can be, on the map too in Facebook gaming. And we've also got great content creators. And yeah, it started growing. It was really inspiring for a lot of Australian gamers. They were like, whoa, it's so cool that you got partnered. I really want to be partnered. Da, 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 da. So it was like, it started a whole chain reaction. And then I was like, when's partnership going to come to Australia? That was my next goal. Yeah, it eventually came and more people were partnered. It was really exciting. I don't take the credit for it. I just worked hard. I wanted to be partnered, and slowly, of course, more content creators were, blowing up on Facebook, and they were just so great. Like it was their hard work as well. But I really do feel really blessed that I got that opportunity. It was a lot of work, but I definitely fought for it. I never stopped asking. I was like, what about now? Am I a partner now? What about now? They were like, oh my gosh, like we're trying to figure it out. But I think it was, I was motivated for it, and I just kept going and going and going. I didn't just like, oh, I accepted like, oh, they're busy with it, I'll leave it. I really worked towards it. And I was like, don't forget me, don't forget about me. And yeah, eventually we got there in the end, which is really exciting.
The persistence
Yes,
coming
that's
in.
it. Persistence. Yep.
You've been active on outside of even Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. One thing I noticed that stands out is just like you post a lot of different things, even about your personality, of your other interests, even outside of the game, rather than doing just like game highlight content. Do you have different tactics for how you treat different platforms? Like, hey, Instagram is my place where I do personal things over here. And have you seen anything, I guess, stand out on any of those platforms or fronts?
Yeah, so I love this question because I think a lot of people confuse that a streamer content creator is someone that only games, but not necessarily. Because when you're a streamer and a content creator, you're essentially kind of like an influencer. There's more to you than just your gaming. Like let's be real, right? You can capture someone with your gameplay, but there's also that personality side that they're drawn to. That's what they also are enjoying. Because if you were just known as like a gamer, you'd be an esports player, isn't it? Like there wouldn't be need to create the content or even stream it. You would, just do it professionally behind the scenes. So I think the whole narrative behind like, oh, I'm only like a streamer, I only like game, is not silly, but it's kind of like you are a brand at the end of the day. The more you grow, you become a brand. You are your own brand. You're an influencer, you're a content creator, whether you want to call yourself that or not, you are. If you're on the internet, you have people viewing, interacting with your stream, you are an influencer. You're an influencer and you're a content creator. And coming with that is, yes, there's a lot of social platforms, but I think it's bringing other things that are different that make your audience want to stay. Like if you're just gaming all the time, imagine you ate the same thing every day. You would get bored of it, right? It's the same thing with being a streamer, content creator. If you're just going online every day, getting those dubs, just streaming, people will start to get like bored of that. You want to keep them really captured. You want them to be interested in your life, like what you're doing. And I get some people don't want to do that. That's totally fine. And I respect that too, because it's a lot having to upkeep all these social medias and this and that. And, blah. And for me, I want to show my personality in everything that I do. I'm not shy that I'm religious, I'm Catholic. I post a lot about God on my Twitter. And I feel like sometimes there's a culture behind social medias. Like you're expected to post this, so your tweet will blow up. Or you know what I'm saying? It's like that tweet baiting where you say, like, I'm gonna unfollow you if you don't click, or you have to tweet really weird stuff if you really wanna, and I've always been a person where I don't follow. I don't follow. I don't like to abide to certain cultures. I like to do what feels right for me. So if it means tweeting about God and people don't like that, I don't care. That's what I'm passionate about. That's what I'm feeling for the day. I'm going to tweet it. I'm not going to tweet something because I want my tweet to blow up. That's just me, right? And that's what feels authentic to me. Same with my pictures on Instagram. If I took a really great photo on my Instagram and I really want to share that moment, maybe I have a message behind it, I'm going to post it. Do I want to go pose all sexy and so I can get more followers and likes? Not really. No, that's just not my personality. Doesn't feel authentic to me. I don't want to grow my social medias or grow as an influencer trying to follow certain cultures that like society think is normality. I want to stay authentic to myself and grow because people know me as a person. They understand my personality, they can relate, they like what I post, we interact well. I never want to just post because I want to get the algorithm, or I want to get the reach, or I want to grow socially. Like that was never ever a goal for me, even when I started streaming. And so upkeeping, of course, all your socials can be really easy when it's authentic. If you're comparing yourself to other people's growth and what you need to post, and oh, this is trending, I don't really want to take a photo of like this, and you don't need to do that. Like you can just stay authentic, and the people that are going to love your content will enjoy what you put out. And that's always been me. I've never, like I said, been a follower. I like to do my own thing. But you get into this like routine where you grow quite big, whether it's management teams sometimes, whether it's people around you, they're like, oh, you need to post this, you need to post that. Like, don't let anyone tell you what you need to post. Like, Post what you feel comfortable with, what you like, what represents yourself, and be mindful about what you post. Because sometimes you can post the worst thing that you think is going to trend and it comes back and bites you in the bum because you wrote something really crude or rude or something like that because you wanted to be trendy or you wanted to be cool and you wanted to fit in and you thought it was cool. And then, down the line, that tweet is now coming back up because you wrote something that was kind of immature or silly because you just wanted to get like an algorithm. It can affect a lot of things. So like I said, it's having that audience quite seriously. What you put out the internet, what you say, you're displaying that to a lot of people. And that comes with a big responsibility. And it's important to remember that because you are influencing other people. It might even be young people, it might be a younger generation. And you might be impacting someone's life. Like that is massive. I don't take that with a grain of salt. Like I'm like, somebody's watching me and might be influenced by me. Like I have a duty to uphold a really great responsibility of ensuring that I'm authentic and I do things that feel right to the public that are watching me. That makes sense. Really important to me.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's something that helps differentiate you as
Yes.
well and helps you stand out with everything, and I'm
Thank
sure
you.
that's part of what helps lead to everything of where you are at right now. But with that, I do wanna say thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
me. If anybody wants to check you out, continue listening to everything, what's the best place to find you?
Of course, Facebook gaming, NatChats twice a day. I'm online, but otherwise I do upload a lot. Also, Facebook's bestie on Instagram, on my stories too. I'm always on my stories. If you need a bit of attention or some love and you want to watch my stories and you feel, a bit lonely, we're always chatting on there too. Yeah, Discord, Instagram, Facebook, I'm everywhere. TikTok, you name it. You can find me everywhere, but mostly Facebook gaming every day, live twice a day.
Awesome, awesome. Definitely check her out. She's always posting so many different things from all over. It's very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining
Thank
us. And if you
you.
guys do want to listen to more podcasts and everything from us, you can find it at pipeline.gg. Thanks so much again, and happy streaming.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. I wanted to just end this with a little bit of context on why we do what we do. We're former content creators ourselves, and we just really want to help as many content creators as we can. That's why we started pipeline.gg. It's a platform where you can find other like-minded creators and learn from the pros who've already been there. Get step-by-step guidance so you can avoid all the mistakes that we made in the beginning. If you love the episode, there's going to be even more inside of Pipeline. So check it out. Head over to pipeline.gg.